Well, I mean, we've been doing work over the break, and you know, on my side, for once, I did everything right with the procedures. So we need to check what happened. The grip was very low, probably lower than we expected. And then after that, I was really frustrated. I didn't even drive well. I did a lot of mistakes. I got track limits, and which is something that I need to avoid. And but this weekend definitely has been more difficult, but was expected. With everyone bringing big upgrades, and we just gotta try to maximize the result, and now we'll focus on the qualifying.
Hi George, promoted to P4 because of the track limits violation for Kimi, so it is a place further forward, but how much happier are you today with the car you had, and what have you learned that you can take into this afternoon to try and start further up?
Not much happier, to be honest. As I said yesterday, I struggle on this track. It's very low grip. There's a couple of tracks on the calendar that are a bit like this here, Brazil, Zandvoort. I just don't know what it is. I just sort of struggle when the car's at four-wheel sliding. But yeah, P4, 2 places forward. But obviously the improvements from McLaren, Ferrari, and also Red Bull are a little bit daunting. So that's the main thing.
All right, thank you.
George being fairly pragmatic about it. His teammate, obviously, I mean, this is the thing with Kimi today. We've been discussing it this weekend, and we discussed it all season. He's going to make mistakes because Jenson, he is so raw, and his own admission didn't get the start, and therefore it affected him all the way through the sprint.
Well, it did affect him, but I have to say we didn't quite look at it there into turn 1, but he dived down the outside of George and got the move done around the outside at turn 1, which I think is quite impressive considering how bad his start was. He was able to switch into a positive mode and dive down the outside and make that move. The incident of driving off track more times than he should, it's just I don't want to say a silly mistake, but it is really. It was an easy forced position for him, and he's just lost 4 points to his biggest title rival.
We know what happened in sprint qualifying with the fact that Kimi had lost about 4 tenths. Just they were deploying later their energy towards the end of the lap, turn 11, turn 17, all the straights leading down to them.
You could see that. I think the Verstappen's Red Bull didn't get a great getaway. Obviously, Lewis went round the outside, and then that battle carried on to turn 3. I'll just look at them here, and on the right, unfortunately for Max, he had the Alpine or Franco Colapinto, so he had nowhere to go. He just didn't seem to have the pace from then on in the race, and he dropped back. So that's how that battle unfolded. Let's hear from them, starting with Max Verstappen.
Hi Max. You had a great battle there for a while with Lewis, backwards and forwards, but overall, how pleased are you with the race and the way the updates have worked, and what does that give you for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I think once we had our issues a little bit sorted, because start was again not good, there was something similar to China that happened, and then after that, out of the last corner in lap 1, I had no battery release, so that was then making it, of course, a lot more difficult for me. But yeah, after that, once I was in clean air, actually the car felt not too bad. I mean, I was catching again one Mercedes, so yeah, the pace was alright, even though I think there's still quite a lot of room for improvement also from our side. The car is still not where I want it to be, and also in the low speed corners the car is jumping a lot, which is a bit awkward, but yeah, we just keep going.
Thanks.
Max, did you waste too much time in the fight with Lewis, but you finally back fighting?
Well, I mean, I had to let him by, but he doesn't come by, so we lose 4 seconds because he just stays behind me. That's where we wasted our time. I don't know what else I could have done there, so that's a bit of a shame. But after that, I think once I was in clean air, the pace was actually quite okay. Still a lot of things that I think we have to work on, because in the low speed the car is jumping a lot, which is costing me quite a lot of grip.
Grazie, Max. Hi Lewis. You backed Max as much as you could out there, but ultimately in the end just couldn't keep the place. So how much do you want to change for quali later? How much can you change for quali later to try and make this car better for you this weekend?
I'm hoping that we can change a lot. I think, I mean, yesterday I lost 3 tenths just because the software wasn't working properly. So I'm driving the same but losing down the straights. And in the race, it seems that continued from qualifying. So I think they're going to have to do some software changes or something to make sure that doesn't happen going into qualifying. And hopefully we'll have slightly better deployment. And yeah, the setup is in the wrong place, so definitely we'll make some big changes going to qualifying.
You are one of the few drivers who enjoy leaving the marker behind motorsport, like Alex Zanardi did in his life. What's the greatest lesson he has left you thinking about him?
Obviously, I only heard just before the minute silence. Already tapped into the news, whatever. So sad to hear his passing. And but I mean, he was remarkable. For one, he was just a really lovely guy, and then just with his resilience, you know, the way he came back, how he always maintained a real positive attitude and accomplished so much. He's a real inspiration for so many, and I think he did things the right way.
Some fine words from the seven-time world champion. You knew him, Jensen, and we didn't actually speak to you earlier about it, but yeah, I mean, terribly sad news, but everyone seems to be united in what they say about the guy being an inspiration.
Yeah, he definitely was. First of all, he had a career in IndyCar, in Formula One, then IndyCar, and then back to Formula One, back to IndyCar, and even after his injuries, he was racing in World Touring Car Championship and fighting at the front, and then to go and win. How many was it? So it's
4 Olympics,
4 golds,
and
2 silvers.
And 2 silvers, yeah.
That's just phenomenal. That just shows the dedication he has through adversity, that strength he has within, and it's so sad that he's passed away. But he leaves a great impression on us, I think, and on the youth coming through in sport, I think.
Let's move it back, if we could, into the battle between those two. I mean, it's always a pleasure to see two of the greatest of all time, really, going wheel to wheel. And I love that from Kroon, that jiggery-pokery with regards to the overtake line. That's not the first time we saw it. As we said, we saw it in Saudi, didn't we, with the DRS chicken back in 2021. So they're still at it. They still know the little tricks of the trade.
It felt a little bit nostalgic, actually, watching the two of them go wheel to wheel like that. But yeah, of course, they're both going to take advantage of the systems, and sometimes that means giving away a little bit to get more afterwards. And Max, obviously, you know, he's a master of refining those things in the car and thinking about all the additional things he can do. But yeah, it was a bit interesting to see they let the pack get away from them in order to, you know, just sort one battle out amongst them. But maybe they felt that they couldn't close the gap to the others anyway. I don't really know, but I don't know if I felt that Max's body language just there was very positive. I think he's quite frustrated, actually, at where they ended up.
No, they were quite frustrated, but actually, when you look at the difference between himself, bearing in mind it's only a 19-lap sprint race, he was, 23 seconds ahead of his teammate? That's over a second a lap, and that's going back to what we saw from... And actually, every time I've seen his Kadjar walk past this weekend, he hasn't looked particularly happy. I should imagine that's a lot to do with it.
Yeah, definitely, and it wasn't really a straightforward race for Max either, was it, with the little fight with Lewis, but I really enjoyed that scrap. It was so nice to see them wheel to wheel, pushing each other hard, pushing each other to the limit, but stopping there, which was nice. The incident at the end when Lewis didn't come back past, if they were fighting for a win, I get it, but when you're losing pace to the guys in front, it's a shame. But yeah, good practice run for what happens tomorrow.
Looks like a good result. You got the last point today. You fought hard after yesterday's qualifying. What can you take from this into qualifying later? What sort of car have you got target-wise?
I think overall positive, to get this point, because this was the best we could hope from today. We're finishing quite far away from Lewis ahead, and I'm glad we could get out of one Red Bull. I think for me personally, it's mainly in terms of feeling and just getting the traction. I've been suffering since the first lap in practice. Today I had a good start, good position, and after that was just about putting good laps. But yeah, I'm still not feeling great, so hopefully we can make a step forward. I think on the flip side, we seem to have a good pace advantage over the rest of the midfield. So yeah, it's a lot of positives to take, but still feel there is more to unlock.
Thank you.
Nice to see the team from Enstone back, and that's Checo's son. Having a lovely day. He was annoying his dad, actually, as he walked past us with the drinks bottle, but now he's getting onto the scooter and Pierre Gasly, very nice chap he is too, and actually it's great to see him performing. And he's one of these drivers who has been solid for so many years, but perhaps, I don't know if he's been underrated. I think it's always been bubbling away in the background. He just hasn't had the car underneath him. It's lovely to see that team who've been so successful in the past rediscovering the kind of form that's elevated them, and he's a good team leader, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think a great team leader. So it's really nice to see the positive energy there, and that's what it's all about in F1. You've got to have the right people within a team to move you forward, and people can see that in him. So that really helps them be more positive and excited about what they're going to achieve in the future.
A good benchmark for Franco Colapinto. There was some very vociferous, shall we call them, Argentinian fans. I mean, they're turning up for everything. He's got a huge groundswell of support. We're going to see it tomorrow, actually, or maybe it's the build-up for qualifying season. I don't know. I'll need to check the timetables. But like 350,000 people turning up to see him do a show run in Buenos Aires. Got a whole nation behind him.
I mean, I can't wait to see that. I remember, was it in Austin in his first year? I think he'd come in for a couple of races, and the amount of fans that came out to see Franco Colapinto, like as if he was the hero of the sport, was just, I mean, clearly the Argentinians support their driver. You've got to be careful what you say, because they will come for you, Simon.
I want to come for them. I want us to get to Buenos Aires very quickly. Can we do that, please, in Argentina Grand Prix?
Positively, though, he has sort of stepped up his form, because it was a bit of a tough run for him for a while, and this weekend particularly he's been quite good. I mean, he obviously outscored his teammate very recently, or outscored him but outperformed him a little bit, and so things are looking like on the rise for Franco Colapinto.
Right, Cruz left the Sky pad and is talking to Lando Norris. Here they are.
Lando, congratulations. That went perfectly, didn't it, right from the launch?
It did, yeah, no, good launch. Always a bit nervous at the launch. It can be a bit of a lottery at times, but you know, our launches lately have been very strong. The team are doing a lot of work on trying to make sure we're good at the launches, because it can win you the race and lose you a race, you know. So we seem to be on top of it, and we need to keep that up. But from that point onwards, you know, I had clean air, clean track, and I could just push and do what I wanted to do. So car's working well. I feel like I'm driving well and on top of things. And when both of those things go together, you can have a great race.
Can you take us into the cockpit? Does it feel like, you know, that update you guys brought to Austria a few years ago, where it just transformed McLaren's season, and then from there it went on? You know, from where you were in Melbourne, 30-40 seconds off at the end, versus now, what does it feel like to you?
You know, in some ways, some of it's just the car works better, but there are certainly things and characteristics from the rear of the car that you just feel more comfortable to hit the throttle pedal a bit more aggressively, it's also more predictable. So as a driver, when you're trying things, you're able to kind of find the sweet spot in a better way. Before than previously this year, you kind of push and you make a big mistake, and then you're a bit afraid to ever get close to that limit again. So now it seems to be a bit more like, and also the temperatures maybe plays a part of it. It's right on the edge of sliding rather than being very snappy and unpredictable, and those are also conditions I normally perform well in. But at the same time, the car just has a good rear now. It gives us confidence as drivers, so you can just get on the throttle, you can give it a bit of gas, and that's always a nice thing to have.
And you know, the team have talked about all of the updates and the work they've done. Tell me about you. You know, what have you done in the last 3-4 weeks to learn a bit more about the systems? Surely having this time off has given you time to think, process the first 3 weekends a bit more?
Yeah, no, quite a bit. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I've had a bad start to the year. It doesn't look like it's been a good start for me, and
China results, you didn't start.
Exactly. So, you know, things have not looked great from the outside, and I think it's easy to think that, but I still feel like I've been doing a good job. We've just had so many problems and so many issues, and this is the first weekend where things have just gone as I wanted. So I feel like I've done a good job, but I've also, the amount of laps, and you know, I drove turn 1 on the simulator probably about, feels like over 1,000 times, you know, and now it's my best car on the track. So I've worked hard to improve on my things and making sure I'm getting everything out of it, and so far so good.
Right, the World Championship defense is on. I'll let you get to the lift.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
Good point. It is, isn't it?
Championship's very much on.
Yeah, we think that very much on. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, were the words he was looking for. What's the point changing the setup? They'll make little tweaks, little changes, or if you've been that good, just leave it alone?
Probably be with systems just to fine-tune them. But yeah, that was impressive. It was a really impressive run. So consistent, just confident in what he was doing, and carry that through to qualifying now, who knows what could happen. But it's nice to see him like that. You know, with Lando, he's an emotional character and he wears his heart on his sleeve. But to see him with that confidence, it's nice.
Jenson always makes the point that actually qualifying for the main race can sometimes be different for sprint qualifying.
Does he always make that
Well, he
point?
was making it yesterday.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, 100%. It can be very different because we only had 90 minutes of practice this weekend until we went into Parc Fermé conditions. So just as you were asking, will they make changes? Pretty sure they will, because otherwise they're just leaving themselves open for the rest of the competition to make changes and potentially close that gap. So I think we will see a change. It's going to be a little bit cooler as well this afternoon, so I think that will also play into it.
Yeah, also drivers that had a bit of a weakness to their teammate in qualifying, in sprint qualifying, will have learned from that and also from the sprint race. So yeah, I expect a big fight.
Thrilling stuff. Thank you both. We enjoyed that. It's been a good start to the weekend. Ted will be back with his sprint notebook